Hello BYU Cougar fans, it's the editor. It feels like it's been a while, but we got another game. Time for some a post-game podcast with more thoughts and analysis from BYU Idaho, 52-13 win. It was a nice win. Really started out great. I loved the intensity that the Cougar offense had. They were really playing fast, playing with a lot of emotion, with a lot of purpose, and that was really nice to see them come out and play the way they did, confident, and just move the ball, move the chains, score points in a hurry. I realize some of that has to do with Idaho being as bad of a team they were, but I wish I could see that intensity more against other teams, some of the better teams, to see BYU come out with an intensity like that, with that confidence. But it was really great to see that. After maybe the bye week had a lot to do with that, but it was really nice to see the offense come out like that. If we could play like that every week, we'd be undefeated still. Lots of great things to talk about from this game. If you've been reading the site, you would have seen multiple times it's been pointed out Kyle Van Noy really close to repeating what he did last year to get a stat in all the major categories. I thought he got that fumble recovery in the first quarter. Very, very close call, but they ruled it an incomplete pass. I really thought it was a fumble, but on the replay, still wasn't convinced. It's pretty close. They didn't show a lot of angles of it, but I was really hoping he was going to get that fumble recovery. Later in the game, though, he ended up forcing another fumble. But there was so many good things going on that Jamal Williams, got to give props to Jamal Williams. That boy can play. Been saying it for weeks, but he really got things going for BYU, taking that direct snap on 4th and 1 and busting it for 49 yards. Very impressive game for him. Finished with 10 carries for 104 yards, 2 touchdown runs. Player of the game. Even on drives, the 3 touchdown passing drives, he carried the ball for several yards, made some impressive runs on each of those drives, which was one thing I noticed. It was really nice to see the run-pass complement each other like they did for the game. The drives where BYU scored on touchdown passes, there was at least 15 yards rushing on those drives. And then the 2 touchdown drives with runs, there was at least 35 yards passing on those drives. So it was really nice. It really accentuated how BYU was playing as a team, where it didn't matter who scored, or who made the plays to get us in scoring range. All that mattered was scoring and getting touchdowns. So that was really nice. The Nelson to Ross Apo touchdown, not touchdown pass, but 53-yard pass was really nice. Probably Apo's best catch of his career. He had to adjust to that ball, totally turn his body around, but he still came down with it. And might be the longest throw of Nelson's life. That thing traveled at least 55 yards in the air. And I was impressed just watching it in real time as to how far that ball went. Another really nice play was Cody Hoffman's catch in the second half. 3rd and 16. Caught it short of the first down marker, but then he hurdled 2 defenders, broke a tackle, carried a defender with him 3 or 4 yards to get 17 yards and pick up the first down. It was his only catch of the second half, but it was a nice one. Robbie Buckner, really nice to see him get to start. and to come up with an interception, a pass breakup, which should have been another interception, and come up with a tackle. I mean, that guy's been through a lot. I plan on fully documenting that later this week, but he's overcome a lot. It was really nice to see him on senior day to get to start and make some big plays. Another player on defense who really impressed me, Wani Unga. 5 tackles, forced fumble, interception, and with the news of Zach Stout being suspended and kicked off the team, Unga is going to be our starting middle linebacker, one of them next year. So really nice to see him have a big game. I'm excited to see what he'll do next year. J.D. Falslev, he didn't have another 40-yard kickoff return, but he had a 37-yard kickoff return. Finished with just 2 returns for 39 yards, but pretty good with a 37-yard return to follow up what he did last game at Georgia Tech. But there's really still a lot to do. This team showed there's still a lot to work on, left a lot of points on the field. BYU made 10 trips to the red zone and didn't score on 3 of them. Hoffman dropped a touchdown right before the half ended. Paul Lasike, I like what I'm seeing from him. He had a nice game, 12 carries for 44 yards, but fumbled there right at the goal line. So a lot of work still to do. Could have played cleaner, could have played better. Idaho had 5 turnovers. We only scored 10 points off of those turnovers. 7 of those were a gift on that fumble return by Spencer Hadley. And on defense, BYU played like a team that was missing 2 starters. The defense played well, didn't play great, but they played well, especially pass defense. Idaho should not have had over 200 yards passing like they did. But when the 2 starters are 2 of the secondary players, it showed. Craig Bills, he played nice, 6 tackles. But then again, I don't know if we want our free safety making 6 tackles, leading the team in tackles. I don't ever remember Sampson having 6 tackles this season. And as I said, Buckner, he played well too. But you can't help but think that with Sampson and Jordan Johnson in, we would have had a little bit better pass defense. Could have kept that total offense number lower. But lots of scrubs got in. Nice to see them play. James Lark, another senior, got to attempt 11 passes. That's quite a bit for a backup. Shows just how much extra playing time he got. He finished with a touchdown. And I liked what I saw. He showed some speed, agility, mobility. And so, if we want to open up that can of worms as far as who would have been better fit for the offense. Lark, he can move. He could have, he might have been able to do a little bit more than Nelson. I don't know how much the whole leadership factor, where this team would do anything for Nelson, whether they feel the same way for Lark or not, I don't know, and how that translates into what actually shows up on the field. But he could have done some nice things. I'm still confident in him if anything happens in these last few weeks. David Foote, another senior, got to carry the ball 10 times, 38 yards. 2 more seniors, Russell Tialavea and Simonte Vea, had fumble recoveries. So that was all real nice. It's nice on senior day to see seniors have an extra special moment. which I guess is one nice thing about this independent schedule, even though we complain a lot about no quality opponents in November. But so far the last 2 years, seniors have had a nice moment to shine. Those who have really put in 4 to 5 years of hard work on scout team and special teams and never really getting a nice moment, they did it yesterday. Skylar Ridley returns. He had a nice game filling in for Hoffman when he got injured in the season opener, and now, he had some big catches, some nice catches. Ended the game with 4 catches for 53 yards against Idaho, and laid a nice block on one of Riley Nelson's carries to help him get a first down. Just a couple other quick notes as to this game. BYU got to 42 points faster than they did against UCLA in the 59-0 win. Took BYU almost the whole first half against UCLA. Scored a touchdown with 14 seconds left in the first half to push it to 42-0. BYU had 42 points with 6:59 to play in the second quarter. That's impressive. Goes to show what I started out with, how intense the offense was, how efficient they were working. And 28 points in the first quarter. I can't say this 100% guarantee, but I'm 95 to 99% sure this was the first time since 1989 BYU has scored 28 points in the first quarter. Ty Detmer's Heisman Trophy year, BYU didn't do it. 1996 team never did it. 2001 team, that very explosive offense under Gary Croton, didn't score 28 points in the first quarter. 2006 Cougar team didn't score 28 points in the first quarter. So that was quite an achievement. 28 points in the first quarter hasn't happened in over 20 years based on my research. Attendance was reported as 61,009. Not a sellout, as I predicted, and many others did. But I was impressed, though, that it was that high. Stands looked kind of empty, at least from those pregame shots on television. And so I don't know if that was the reported attendance, tickets sold, or actual people in the seats. But all in all, pretty good game. Nice to see BYU back on the field again, and 52 points, season high. So looking forward to the rest of the season, especially next week, San Jose State. And what else can you say but go Cougars?